I'm back at it again on a Friday night at about 11 p.m. I put a few more improvements into this Python program that controls the Tec amateur radio called the Pegasus 3. And so humans are a species that likes colors, as does many animals, I suppose, too. And I wanted to have these buttons color coded, so when you press one of these, it will light up. So I initially had these light up when you press them, like they do now, but that wasn't very satisfactory, that if you were tuning across the frequencies, the button would stay lit, and that didn't make sense. So now I have these buttons basically figuring out from this marquee up here, the same code that runs this marquee up here for the band will also light the button up. And when you depart, excuse me, the frequencies, the button will extinguish. So if I'm on, say, 40 meters here and I go below band, the button now goes out. So it's kind of fun. When you go back into 40, it comes back on. Go to AM mode here, which anyway, so now the next band comes up, which is 30 meters. And when I run across it, the button will light. And there's also WWV here too, so when I hit this band, that button lights up. And a little further, 30 meters lights up. And if I hit 20 meters here, that lights up, and if I go out of band, the button will go off. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's really great. The same thing for these down here. If I want to do and check for band openings, I can hit WWV here. And well, that's interesting. Okay, I went off frequency, so yeah, if I go off frequency, it'll extinguish. And I can always jump by hitting this. Try this one. Now that's a problem. They were both lit up, which is bad. Now they're not. Now they are. Because the frequency didn't shift. And the same thing for CHU also. I have CHU programmed here. And this one. And looks like I got some logic errors, don't I? Oh, it sort of works. I got an error somewhere in there, but it mostly works. Oh, there we go. So what's happening is the radio is not shifting. There. So maybe the code I put in is slowing it down, causing some interference now with my radio control part. I hope not, but you never know. Well, it works mostly. Looks like it might have some bugs. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. I also added the same to these buttons. So if we go to 40 meters now and advance it to here, and I could now do a bypass, and that will put the tuner in bypass mode, or I could tune up on 40 right here. And now I have this button staying lit saying we've done. That button stays lit saying we've done an antenna tune on 40 meters. And if I leave 40 meters, this will still say tuned because it makes sense that it is tuned. So if I leave 40 meters, you'll see this will go out. This stays on because the antenna is on 40 meters. So now it's a reminder that the antenna is tuned to 40, and if you go other places, like you go here, the antenna is still tuned on 40. And I didn't want to make this automatic. I figured if you don't want to transmit and listen, you don't want the antenna tuner always changing with the band. So I left it manual. And so if you want to then go on 20, you can. Usually when you want to listen to things and not transmit, you go to bypass mode here, meaning the tuner is not working at all. It's just bypassed. And then you can tune around here. And if you want to transmit, you can now say transmit on 20, tune the antenna for 20 meters. It's all done. Let's make sure the SWR is good. Transmitter on. SWR, wow. Okay, it's really good. So 113 watts. I'm going to burn this thing up. I also, I think, need to put like a 100 watt peak in this thing so it won't overdrive. This thing burned the power supply out. Well, it crowbarred the power supply and it blew the fuse in this thing in the Pegasus. So I was on 17 meters and I was over driving it, and it blew the fuse and crowbarred the power supply. So yeah, I should put a limitation in there for that. And say like 15 meters go there. Well, here's 17. I don't need a tuner on this band, so I can go to bypass, it works fine. 15 meters here. Could tune it up. I have the thing set for the center of the band, right about there. Tune it up pretty fast, and it works like crazy. So really happy with how it's turned out. So no SWR here at all. So now I can actually, I can probably use this radio now to talk to people, or at least make an attempt to talk to people without so much fooling around with antenna tuners and all that. The radio, the use cases now for operating this thing are a little better. I should probably have these buttons lit up also saying which one of these is selected, and I guess I'll do that now. So those are lit up. These don't make sense to light up, I don't think. And these are all lit up now. I guess these don't make sense to light up, they're just drop downs. And these don't either. I should probably color code these or something, but yeah, I'm not really a UI specialist. So the auto tune, I thought it would be really cool if when I press auto tune, it sends the command down to the radio. The auto tune begins, and when I'm done, the radio could report it's done, so I could poll the radio for the auto tune being done, and then have the button light up yellow or something or red, and then when it's done, it would go back to blue or something. And that would be cool if the radio was being worked remotely over 1,000 miles or something where you don't have access to the radio. You would still know that things are complete. So thought about doing that, and the way that jQuery and most likely JavaScript work, I think this thing is doing async calls. So I don't think it's synchronous, and so I could probably put a synchronous call in there, but that would probably jam up the rest of the radio. So not going to do that. Here's some of the code I've been mucking with here. This is actually all the code that runs this thing in JavaScript. So the browser part calls the radio and calls it from various parts and runs it. So anyway, this is what I've been doing. It's a lot of tedious code. I can't say it's great code, but it's all in there, and it's pretty easy to run. So yeah, so I'm concerned about the async call here with the gets. So the gets are, this is basically a jQuery call for a get, and I'm going to call an endpoint with a get called antenna tuner, and I'll give it an operation code that's fed into here, which is one of the $0 through $8 commands that the LDC antenna tuner uses. Give it in JSON. So I don't think this is synchronous. I think as soon as I send this thing, it sends the radio. It doesn't wait around here because it would take some time, and it just goes off and it collects the report later. So I could probably tell this to go synchronous. I'm not sure how I would do that yet, but that would be an interesting endeavor. So here's the antenna tuner from memory. So that part, I have these as memory buttons, and I basically had to count how many inductors and capacitive clicks to 0 I could do, and I coded those all up in here. This part here is a real mess. This is the part here that figures out when it gets a frequency from the radio, which button lights up here and which text is put, which text is rendered. So that's a real frickin' mess. I'm not proud of this code. It is JavaScript code. What can I say? Yeah, in here I clear all the buttons, so when these things get out of band, I just clear them all at once. I don't even worry about which one. So all band buttons are cleared, antenna buttons are cleared. And I was trying to play audio through this thing. I never got that working yet. And I think I have some old code in here from a different job I had a long time ago with a different company. This is my own code, but I think I wrote stuff for a company once, and I put some of the stuff in here that was useful for uploading files and stuff. Anyway, that's about it. This is JavaScript and jQuery, really, and how this thing runs. I like this Bootstrap 5 thing. This is a really great little SDK thing that's called Bootstrap Studio. I like this a lot. I learned this thing a few years ago, and I've been really happy with it. You can basically click the buttons here, and you can look at what the button's called and then call it over here in your JavaScript. So my brother is learning this stuff, and he'll probably look at this and go, oh, that's pretty neat. We'll see what he thinks about it. So that's about it. That's how this works, and I hope you enjoyed my demo. Let's get this thing out of the way again. Back to the radio, and let's see what's going on here. Up the volume. Let's go to 40 meters. Okay, down the volume. So it would be cool to put a scan in here where I can scan the band. I also want to put like an auto squelch in here, so I go across the whole band. It'll take an S average across the band and then knock the squelch up 2 notches and That would be kind of cool. So I've kind of been poking away at this thing. I like this filter button where you can widen the filter like that. I need a lock button on this thing.
I copied that, and I'm definitely going to watch it.
So here's the filter.
Roger, I think you'll enjoy it. And actually, one of the things in the movie...
Here's the filter.
...was pretty much what you said.
So you can take it way down.
I don't know where the knowledge comes from. It's a belief I get, and I ardently believe what I believe, and much of it, but it's not about religion, but it's just something different. It's neither religion nor science, bacteria.
Well, this is a mixture of religion, science, life on Earth, the universe, and all sorts of stuff. Pretty well done. A lot of pretty credible people in it. I mean, I've done a lot of research on the topic. So.
And we can also kick in the noise blanket here. And that is here.
Maybe one of the stuff we can discuss about it.
And put this on to slow.
I'd love to get your take on it when you watch it.
And
what's nice is it's on YouTube for free. So if you have the ability to run YouTube out on a TV or a computer screen, you don't have to watch it on your phone like I did.
I understand. I have a problem with those frequent commercial interruption on YouTube. So, I like to watch it, uninterrupted, and I'm going to look at another point where, they do have movies available. I have so many channels on my TV that I'm sure I can find it without any interruption.
that's pretty good like that.
Yeah, the good news, though, for this one is the interruptions were quickly resolved because it gave you a skip commercial right away.
Oh, yes, in fact, that's another option. Yeah, I know I downloaded for YouTube. So when I use the downloader, it will eliminate probably the commercials.
Roger, but this one at least lets you go right away from the commercial. It says skip. You can click on it immediately. You didn't have to even wait for more than 3 seconds or something.
Yeah, I understand.
So that's kind of cool. What else the Pegasus can do is the gentleman that wrote the DSP code here put a notch filter in. So if you find something that is irritating a carrier on here, you can notch it out. So let's see how that works. So let's turn off the noise filter. So it's not working anymore. Let's turn the ADC to medium, and now we can hunt around for our carrier noise. Turn up the volume here.
I've got everyone's call written over there. I'm going to look at the name that corresponds with the call. What's your name? What's your call right here?
Okay. Let's try and notch out these FT8s. That'd be funny. Watch this. I think because there's many signals, it can't notch it out. It only notches out one frequency. And I'm looking for a carrier here. Well, we can find something here. Let's go down to 5 megahertz. And we can open this thing up. and go to LSB. Okay, there's an AM carrier on sideband. You can hear it squealing. Let's notch it now. Takes it out. You hear that? Watch, we'll notch it out. Gone. Unnotch. It doesn't catch that one. All right. So now we're just on AM mode here, and we'll go to a large filter setting and see what we can find.
Because we give away stuff. That's the only way we know as to how to contact you if you win.
It's bypass. There we go.
When I came up here for the very first time, no, está bien. Muy buen gusto.
So I used to have the AM band going in, I think, 100 kc increments, or was it 10 kc? But anyway, I've broken that, I think, by adding these buttons, so I got to fix that. Anyway, yeah, a rather long demo of this thing. It's fun to muck around with it. I've always loved radios as a kid even, so it's fun just to listen and see what you can hear and sometimes transmit to people. So that's about it for my long demo. I hope you guys enjoyed it, or if you're trying to sleep and I put you to sleep, then I've done good there too. Okay, thanks. Have a great night.